let's talk about risk as student pilots. There's no doubt about it, student pilot fails are hilarious to watch. Okay, first of all, how do they even get in that situation? I mean, check out this one. This epic crash was the result of a Cessna coming in really low on final approach and the car not stopping before the runway at the stop sign. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. This is a giant hangar being picked up from the thrust of a jet in the back burner, causing the entire thing to flip over. Again, thankfully no one was hurt or injured in this catastrophe. But it's pretty hilarious and it's pretty ironic. Safety is really important to us, not only as student pilots but also as flight instructors and pilots and professional aviators in general. Before every flight, we go through a very rigorous process of making sure the checklists are complete and verified. We try to be as safe as possible and we memorize a lot of acronyms and different things that can help us to think clearly and smoothly through each process and each step. Here I am on the runway. This is at Pullman and this was our cross-country trip out. I love takeoffs. They're one of my favorite first stages of flight and it's really exciting, gets your heart pumping as you put that throttle in, you feel that airspeed rise and then you apply some back pressure and you feel that aircraft lift right off the ground. There's nothing more freeing or rewarding than that. I love it so much and continue to grow and get better with each day and each step. Again, here's some more footage of my takeoff and landing at Pullman. This is climbing out of Walla Walla University Regional Airport. You can see the mountains in the background. Well guys, just got back from the flight all the way to Pullman and back. It was about an hour and a half and then we did a couple touch and goes. Once we got back here, and it has been a beautiful day, all the way down, all the way back, learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, keep going at it, that's the motto. There's an airplane behind me. I don't know if you can see that, maybe you can hear it. Alright, let's get back to risk management. Well, when you're nervous, your brain goes through a lot of different functions and a lot of different hormones are released, which cause you to not be able to think very clearly. Which is why as pilots, we practice emergency procedures all the time. We're constantly trying to train, think, and plan smarter so that if anything does happen, we have the training already there that it doesn't take that time away for us to cognitively think about it. So we can go ahead and execute the right actions in order to get us to a safe space or a place that we can think more clearly and then troubleshoot deeper. But having trained actions set in place, something that's just second nature and we don't have to think about, can literally save lives. Another important operation of the airport to reduce risk as much as possible is routine maintenance. This aircraft is going in for an oil change and inspection, and it should be right as rain in a few minutes, but I just wanted to show it being pulled into the hangar. There's a couple of things that we actually do, a couple acronyms we use to assess risk. We have the 5 Ps, the 3 Ps, we have the 5 Cs, we have team, and we have a couple more, but I'll get to those later. They're called ADMs. Aeronautical decision making. They consist of a large variety of different acronyms and special phrases that we use as student pilots and as pilots in general. Alright, I want to go ahead and tell you a little bit about each one of the acronyms, what they mean, what they represent, and I figure you might as well do it while watching a short video of me coming in for a landing at Pullman. Alright, let's get into it. The 5 Ps, here's what they mean. 5 Ps, the plane, the pilot, the plan, the passengers, and the programming. This acronym helps you keep track of what's most important in an emergency situation. You kind of run through each one of these scenarios in the cockpit as you're planning out your emergency procedures. Equally as important as in an emergency potential risk are the 3 Ps, and that's going to help you think through the right steps of the emergency. They are perceive, process, perform. Perceive the situation, what's going on. Troubleshoot the engine, troubleshoot all the different factors on the checklist. Go through it all and make sure you have good situational awareness. The next one is process. process means you need to think clearly and rationalize each and every step and their potential outcome and consequences. And that's also another really important factor. And perform the right actions immediately. Alright, let's get into the 5 C's. The 5 C's are a specific acronym for the things that you do when you get lost. So let's say that your GPS conks out or your VORs are off, and somehow you end up lost in the clouds or lost away from the airport of your desired destination. So running through them, they are confess, climb, conserve, communicate, and comply. Running through them quickly, that just means that you need to confess that you messed up and you're lost. The next thing to do is climb to cope. The best thing to do as you're climbing is to climb in a steady rate of turn. So you're climbing in a circle as you climb to a higher altitude to hopefully get above the clouds or get to a place where you can see your desired location or destination. And the other thing, it gives you some time, it gives you something to do rather than just continue down a straight course of not knowing where you're going and not being able to see the terrain out in front of you, just in case. So it's actually safer to climb in a steady circle rather than continue on a straight course and climb that way. Alright, let's keep checking them off the list here. Next one, you have conserve. You want to conserve your fuel for as far and as long as possible. You don't know how much longer you're going to be in the air, so you want to plan for the worst case scenario. So if you were stuck in there for an additional 2-3 hours, could you make it to your destination? And most places around where we live, there's going to be an airport within 30 minutes of you. But you never know, if you're way out in the middle of nowhere, there might not be a runway nearby. Alright, the next one is communicate. Usually you have a frequency that you can contact Chinook, which is the ATC or Air Traffic Control Center, or you can contact Flight Service Station Centers. We have one here in Washington, it's called Chinook Approach, and we have Seattle Radio as our FSS. So we have 2 stations we can always contact. If we're near an airport or CTAF, we can contact them. We can always contact or change our frequency to 121.5 in an emergency, and usually there's always someone monitoring that frequency because it's the emergency frequency. So usually ATC will get back to us and give us vectors to our new airport. The last one is comply. It's pretty self-explanatory. You want to comply with the directions you are given and fly to the designated spot they have assigned for you. It's pretty simple as that, and it can save your life. So I hope that clear as mud. Sorry we kind of rushed through that. There's a lot of other things that are involved with this too, and I'm kind of just giving you it without a lot of explanation. So hopefully that makes sense. If it does, please give this video a like. Consider subscribing down below. And before the end of the video, I have a fun story for all of you. So stay tuned for that, and then we'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. This is public knowledge now, and so it's something I can talk briefly about. A couple years ago, there was a plane crash at our school. We have a lot of mountains to the west and east of us here in Walla Walla. So a flight instructor and a student pilot set out to fly through a canyon at one of the mountain ranges to the east. As they were flying, they decided to fly up the canyon, and you know where I'm going with this. They ran out of performance and ended up crashing into the trees. The plane was totaled, but they both walked away unharmed with just a few minor scrapes and scratches. It's a pretty miraculous story, and thankfully nobody was hurt, but that shows a very poor choice of risk assessment. Risk assessment is huge. We constantly use it in student pilot training. We have certain minimums of weather conditions that we can fly in. Along with that, the plane has to be in perfect repair, no maintenance items or anything else that might be wrong with the aircraft. Otherwise, we ship it into maintenance and they fix the problem. But we do not fly with broken parts for obvious reasons. Welcome to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your help and support, and please continue to support us on this channel. Give this video a like if you haven't already, subscribe down below, and hit that little bell button so you can get new updates and notifications when we post regularly. Can't wait to see you in the next video, guys. Take care, fly safe, and remember that there are only 2 pilots in this world, old pilots and bold pilots. Can't wait to see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.